to go to EMT class. You should come with us.
Wow.
And I said, are you out of your mind? No, I'm not doing that. They were like, no, but you're doing this. I was like, okay, I guess we'll see what happens. There is no better feeling in the world than getting on a fire truck or a fire engine with your best friends in the entire world going to a fire. Yeah. I don't want it to happen.
Welcome to the Firehouse, the show dedicated to the brave men and women who serve our community.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Firehouse on WRHU 88.7 FM. I am your host, Chris Moses, and today, sitting with me in the Firehouse is my boy, Caleb. What's going on, man?
What's going on, Chris? How are you?
I'm good. I cannot complain. All right, so, and it's Caleb Giordano.
Yep, Caleb Giordano.
There we go. I said it right. Okay, so, Caleb, do me a favor and just tell me, tell me and the audience, just tell them your name, tell them the department you're from, what company, how long you've been in, and any ranks that you've held.
Sure. So my name is Caleb Giordano. I'm a member of Carle Place Fire Department. I think either today or sometime this week is actually my 10-year anniversary of being in the volleys.
Look at that.
Yeah, I know. Time is flowing, man. I'm currently the president of the department, and we don't really have companies. It's just one department.
Oh, it's just
yeah, we roll as one department.
So that's how Carle Place is. It's just one department. Yep. So we're going to talk about that because I want to know, like, how do you, which rig are you getting on or whatever, and we'll talk about that as we go along. But you said 10 years.
Yeah.
I know you got some stories, buddy. I know you got some stories, and we're going to get into those. Everybody's want to hear those. But let's start at the beginning. 10 years ago. What makes you say that you want to be a firefighter? So
I was actually in the junior fire department for a little bit as well. I got my start through them.
How long were you in the juniors?
I was in the juniors for about 2 years.
2 years. Is it technically 12 years in the fire service?
Yeah, technically 12 years in the fire service.
I know no one likes to count juniors, but why not? Like, that was the beginning. So.
Typically, you count your junior years, people start making fun of you a little bit more.
Yeah, I know they do.
No, so I spent about 2 years in the juniors. I was captain of the juniors, which, again, people are probably going to make fun of me for, but whatever.
It's all right.
So the post was inactive for a little bit. I think my application kind of jump-started it a little bit, and, they got another group of kids going in.
Yep.
And, I was in for about 2 years, and I fell in love with all the activities and everything like that. I was the first member of my family really to join the volunteer fire service. I have a couple of great uncles who were in the FDNY way back in the day.
Okay.
So I started doing the juniors, and oddly enough, my dad actually joined after that, which is, usually it's the opposite. Your dad joins first.
So wait, were you already in, or you were a junior and then he joined?
I was a junior first, and then my dad joined as an EMT.
As an EMT. Look at that. And it's usually the opposite. Look at that.
I know.
You made the push.
Yeah.
But how did you even find out about the juniors? Like, how did you learn about anything with the fire service?
Yeah, you know what? My mom was actually talking to someone. I forget where it was, but they were like, oh, you should tell your son to join the juniors. And she was like, okay. So I took the application, I filled it out. And, from the time I was a little kid, I had already been obsessed with fire and police and that stuff.
Yep.
That was a dream. I don't know a kid who didn't dream of being a cop or a fireman, for a little bit.
Yep.
So I filled it out and it ended up becoming a dream come true.
Wow. Look at that. I think that's really dope that your father joined after.
Yeah.
Because we always hear the exact opposite.
Right.
All right. So you're in the juniors. Like you said, Carle Place is just, you run as a department. It's not different companies or anything like that. So how is the training? You're trained, so like me, I'm an engine. So they train me on being an engineman. How is your training? How does that go when you first start?
Yeah, in the juniors, so we can do pretty much everything that the regular department does just without live fire.
Okay.
So, I actually run the junior program now with another gentleman from the
full
department
circle,
named Hector.
full circle.
Yeah, exactly. It's all come full circle.
Yeah.
So, we try to encompass a little bit of everything. It's tough to do sometimes because, my juniors are fantastic. Literally all they want to do is they just want to come and they want to train. If I tell them we're going to train every single day of the week, they're going to do that.
They're going to do
Unfortunately, at times, my wife does like to see me at home, so that's not really happening.
That's right.
They're great kids. So we try to encompass a little bit of everything. So we do, one month we might do some engine training. Next we'll try to do some truck training. We'll throw the ambulance in there as well because we run EMS in Carle Place. So, when I was in the juniors, it was kind of the same thing. We try to stick to, okay, 1 month we'll do engine. We're going to pull some hose today. We're going to flow some water in the parking lot if it's the summertime, and then in the wintertime we'll try to do some searches in our meeting room, something like that.
And does it still kind of do you do the same thing for when you're actually in? When you're not junior, is it that where you work month to month doing? Like, how is that? Because, I focus on engine, right? And truck focus on truck stuff. But if you're a department that does it all, how does that training look?
Yeah, our officers who run the trainings for the department, they try to break it up as best they can.
Okay.
If we go to a job or something like that, and we have a training schedule for later on, and whatever we went to at the job, maybe they'll say, hey, we did really good at this job, but let's try to hone in a little bit more on this. Maybe some of the newer guys need a little bit more work on stretching a line, or okay, maybe you didn't remember to bring this tool with you, so let's go over what jobs require what tools at if we're being called as a truck.
Okay. So you kind of get both in.
Yeah, we try to get both in.
Trying to get both in all the time. All right. So now you're in. Did you say that you held any ranks yet?
I am. So I'm the president of the department.
You're the president of the department. So is there rankings of captains, lieutenants, or no? It's president. So how does all of that work? So we have 2 lieutenants and the captain, and then we have 3 chiefs as well. Okay.
So I'm on the other side of that. So just as there's 2 separate types of fire departments in Nassau County and on Long Island. You have a fire district, and you have a fire protection company. So Carle Place falls into the fire protection company side.
Okay.
So we are not a district. So a district has either 3 or 5 civilian commissioners who can be a part of the fire department.
Like Uniondale. That's what we have in Uniondale. Yeah.
Exactly. So we do not have that. So we're a non-for-profit. We are governed by ourselves. So you have to be a member to be elected onto our Board of Trustees. So at the moment, I am the president of the department.
President of the department. How is that? So before we even get into like the duties of the president, right? What makes you want to do that? You're in, right? You just got in out of the juniors. You go in, you're loving it. What makes you now want to start taking that leadership route? And why do you decide to go president versus captain, lieutenant, or anything like that?
So I'll be honest with you, Chris. I really didn't want to.
It's funny because a lot of people have said that. They were like, I didn't want to. Just like you kind of get pushed into it.
Yeah, it just kind of happened. But so when I had first gotten in, I think every new probie who comes through is like, oh, I want to be a lieutenant. I want to be a captain. I want to be the chief of the department one day.
Yeah.
And as time went on, I kind of thought to myself, maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I'm okay just being a black hat. Maybe I just want to, just get in the back of the rig with the boys. I don't want to have any more responsibility or whatnot. And then in 2021, someone on the board of our trustees stepped down, and several people approached me and said, hey, how would you feel about going on the board? And I was like, I'll be honest with you, I don't really know what you guys do, but sure, I'll give it a try. We handle the business end of everything. So we're the ones who pay all the bills. We're the ones who deal with the building. If a new truck has to be purchased, we're the ones who do it. So I got on the board in 2021, and as time went on, it seemed like I just kept moving up the ranks because other people kept leaving.
Okay.
Back in July, actually, the last president, he stepped down. So I ended up taking his spot. So now I'm the president of the department.
And then you end up being the president. Wow.
And I ended up being the president, and my phone just doesn't stop ringing.
I can imagine. I can imagine. So now, I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but just for our listeners, you pull up to a call, right? You're the president of the department. The chief is there. Who has the scene?
It's the chief.
Always the chief, right?
Yeah, anytime I get on the rig, the only time my role comes out on the call is if someone hits something or breaks something that they shouldn't. Yeah, that's it. Then it's me who's filling out the paperwork going, oh, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. That's great because I have some questions for that later. So
yeah,
that's
sure.
That's going to be great. All right, so you decide to be president. So, again, you said you're just basically like the admin.
Yeah, I take care of all the paperwork, make sure the bills get paid. If guys need new gear or something like that, or the officers come to me, hey, we need to purchase a new tool.
Okay.
They come through us, and I go, okay, let's talk about it. What do we got to do?
What does the board consist of? If you're the president, what else do you have?
The board consists of 5 members. So we have a president, vice president, a treasurer, and then 2 secretaries.
Okay. So that's pretty much like your ex-com of, that's who all things go through, voting and everything is through you 5. Wow, look at that. I like that. All right, so let's keep going here. So you said your father decided to be an EMT while you're in the juniors.
Yeah, so my dad joined. I got to.
In the heart of Blue Point, New York, the Johnny Mac Foundation stands as a beacon of hope and resilience. Founded in memory of FDNY firefighter John F. McNamara, who lost his life to 9/11 related cancer, this foundation embodies his enduring motto, whatever it takes. To supporting first responders and their families, the Johnny Mac Foundation is committed to making a long-lasting impact. Join us in honoring John's legacy and making a difference. Visit at johnnymacfoundation.org to learn more and contribute.
I got into the juniors at the tail end of 2013. I want to say my dad joined sometime in the middle of 2014.
Okay, so then he joined in there. So now, I think you said, if I'm correct, you're also an EMT.
I am, yes.
So what made you want to do that? Like, because that, I've always said, especially on this show, I've always said, that is not for everyone.
No, it is not.
I am one of those people. I took the class, did it, and was like, this is not for me, and I will not do this. Like, what made you want to do that as well?
I'll be honest with you, Chris. I went to a cardiac arrest very shortly after I had become a full-fledged member, and it scared me really, really badly.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't want to be an EMT. I want nothing to do with this. I don't even want to step foot on the ambulance again. Like, this was terrible.
You don't want to be responsible.
No, I don't want to be responsible for all this. This was ridiculous. And then as time went on, I kind of got reacclimated with myself, and a couple of my friends were like, hey, we're going to go to EMT class. You should come with us.
Wow.
And I said, are you out of your mind? No, I'm not doing that. They were like, no, but you're doing this. I was like, okay, I guess we'll see what happens.
Let's just do it. Let's just do it. And then
you know what? And I met a lot of great people in the EMT class. I met the best man who was at my wedding through my EMT class.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, you meet some great people doing it.
Look at that. All right. So you decided to go ahead, and so now you are a firefighter and an EMT. Yeah. So that now brings me to my next question of call. We bang out with a call. As firefighters respond, where does everyone go? I assume you have a truck, you have an engine, you have the bus. Where are the assignments? Like, everyone pulls up. Well, how does this work? Versus Uniondale, I pull up, I'm the engine, I know where I'm going. Right. So now where do I go?
It depends on whatever rig is rolling through the door next. And it depends
what is the order of rigs that roll?
So typically, if we bang out for a house fire in Carle Place, the engine is supposed to roll first.
Okay. So we got to staff that first.
Yeah. So if the engine gets staffed first, great. And the next up on that is the truck. If the truck rolls, fantastic. Then we'll see who's left. I'm a qualified engine chauffeur, so if I have some more bodies and I can roll the engine, I'll roll the engine. If it's just me and I have maybe either an ambulance chauffeur or another EMT, I will hop in the ambulance and we'll just go in the ambulance.
And then just go in the ambulance. Okay. All right. So it's basically staff the engine, staff the truck, and then whatever's left over, what comes out. Okay. All right. I got it. Because that's what I would wonder. Like, do people wait? Like, hey, I want to do truck work.
I'm sure some people probably do, but
like, I want to do truck work, right. So I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna go to the bathroom right now, and then I'm gonna come out. All right. So let's keep going here. Let's get into some, well, you know what? Before we get into some stories, because this is going to, I guess, add into our stories. In your bio, you talked about being above the knee amputee.
Yep.
So first, if we can kind of walk through that, right? Because you said when did this happen?
So I was born with a condition called PFFD, which after its very long medical name, basically what it means is my right femur was not growing to the same length as my left one.
Okay.
So I was born in 1997. By the time they figured everything out, and my parents needed to figure out what to do, it was 1999. There were basically three options. It was either 1, leave it alone and do nothing.
Okay.
2, try limb lengthening surgery, or 3, amputate.
Okay.
Both my parents agreed that they couldn't just do nothing about it. I ended up not being a candidate for the experimental surgery, and so they chose to amputate.
Wow. Okay.
So
and how old were you at this time?
I was 2.
2. Wow. Okay. So keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, so in July of 1999, I had my right leg amputated above the knee. I was in a body cast for I don't even know how long after that. And I ended up taking my first steps in a prosthetic. I couldn't have walked beforehand.
Before then?
Yeah.
Wow. So I got to ask, does any of that, you said that you wanted to do, be a firefighter from, when you were younger. Did that in any way hinder, did that in any way like say, no, I can't do this? Like, where is your mind during this?
Yeah, I mean, when you're a kid, you're not thinking about you can't do this. You just want to go and do it, right? You don't really care. And as I got older, I was like, maybe I'm not going to be able to do this. Like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
And so when I was in my sophomore year and the opportunity came up for the juniors, I went to the meeting. I met with the advisor, and I said, listen, I don't know if I can actually do this. And he was like, okay, well, let's give it a try, because he didn't know if I could do it either. But they were like, well, in today's day and age,
anybody could do anything.
Anyone can do anything, and it's not like it was back in the 50s where there was a 2-year waiting list to get into the department. We need people. So if you can do what needs to be done, let's give it a try. So I went through a lot of the juniors training. When it came time for me to turn 18 and join the department, everyone kind of sat down and was like, okay, can he do this? And the advisor was very adamant of, oh yeah, no, he can do this. We're gonna let him in.
So how is fire school with this? Was this like a thing that you had to talk to the chief over at fire school first? Did your department have to say, hey, this is what's going on with this member? Or
yeah, so I think it was, they allowed me to go in, but I needed both a note from the department physician stating that I was able to do it, and then I also needed a letter from the company that makes my prosthetics to also be able to do it. And they essentially wrote me a letter that said, hey, if his leg starts to melt or anything inside the fire, he's got bigger problems, so he's good. Have at it.
Wow, look at that, man. That tells you right there, for anybody that's ever thinking that they can't or won't, you are, and you're doing it with no problem. So I think that's a great story for everybody to just know about. So with that said, let's get into some of these stories, right? So what stories do you got for me?
So probably the first one is, I'm sure you're probably going to ask about my first house fire.
Of course. Fire. I was going to ask that, your first house fire.
So it was actually the day after one of my sister's Sweet 16s. I was at home, I was in bed, and I hear the tones drop, and I'm like, oh, what could this possibly be? And I probably had about a year or so in at this point. And the tones drop, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to get out of the house, right? Yeah. I'm fumbling around, getting out of the house, putting on my shoes, everything. I'm running away. And I finally get down to the firehouse. First engine's already out the door.
Yeah.
I'm like, what just happened here? So now I hop on the truck, which is the old 914, and we get on that, and I am probably the only person there who's under the age of 50.
Wow.
And I'm like, all right, here we go. So we get there. The engine had stretched the line. They got it in, and my job was basically to be the OV man at the time. And to also we were doing the OV, and then eventually as the fire progressed, they were able to put it out. I went in and did some overhaul. Yeah, but it was a Collier's mansion right on the corner, and so
can you just quickly, just for people that don't know, what Collier mansion is?
So Collier's mansion is basically a hoarder house. This person had an abundance of things inside the home, from stacks of old newspapers to bags of dog food, just a ridiculous amount of stuff, right?
Which is basically, for our listeners, nothing but fuel.
Yeah.
Nothing but fuel for the fire. But go ahead.
Exactly. So, I ended up going in, and again, this is the first time I'm really ever out of fire. And
So when you pull up, it's going?
It was rocking a little bit. There's a couple other people out there who are, taking windows and everything like that. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, so
this is awesome.
This is what I got to ask. Two things I have to ask. What is your thoughts? This is your first fire. What are your thoughts? And does anything come into your back of your head with your amputee? Like, do you think about anything like that? This is not a first fire, right? It's one thing where it's like, hey, I want to do this, but now it's here. All these things. Do any of that come into your brain? Like, what's going on in your mind?
Yeah. So at the time, I had not gone to fire school yet, so I was still an exterior fireman at that point. So I couldn't even really go in during when the fire was going on. But I was still sitting there going, oh my God, this is awesome. Then I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I got to go in there. What am I doing? So after they knocked down the main body of fire, everything was all good. They called me inside and let me do some overhaul and stuff. And again, this is the first time I'm ever seeing this. And guys are tossing dressers and bags of clothing out the window. All you hear is boom, crash. Like, oh, this is awesome.
This is great. I love that. All right, so that was your first fire. What else do we got?
Probably the other one that comes to mind is the first one of the more memorable calls I went on with my dad.
Okay.
So my dad was an EMT. This was before I was an EMT. Me and him were sitting at home one day. It was a Saturday.
Okay.
And we're watching TV. We're doing whatever, both in the living room. And he looks at his phone and goes, "Why don't I just get a text that we have a call?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And then 30 seconds later, the pager goes off. We're like, "Oh, let's go." It's an MVA for a motorcyclist down.
Okay.
And it just so happened that Willie Geddish, one of your former guests on the show, and his brother Mike were also at the firehouse.
Okay.
So it was the two of them in the ambulance. My dad and I hopped in the back, and off we went.
Okay.
And it was, I think, in the Meadowbrook, and we were trying to get down into the entrance ramp off of Old Country Road, and the traffic was just backed up, right?
Wow.
And again, I'm still very new. I'm freaking out at this point. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
We're not going to get there. How are we going to get there?
Exactly. My dad jumps out the back of the ambulance and says, "Get me the EMT bag and get me the backboard." I'm like, okay. So I get those things, and he goes, "All right, now get him down there." I'm like, what? What do you mean? So we ended up having to hop over the side and go down a hill to get to where this guy had been knocked off his bike. He's laying in a puddle, and a physician was driving by, and he was holding C-spine stabilization, keeping this guy's neck still. And my dad didn't have that long in the department at this point either, and he's barking orders at Mikey and Willie. And I'm like, "Are you allowed to do that? Like, what are we doing here?" And at that time, Willie and Mikey were both, I think they were both lieutenants. And we ended up getting this guy in the back of the bus, and I don't remember him being like bleeding anywhere like that. I think he just got thrown for a loop, but he was very obvious. And find out later on he was a trauma. He was very seriously hurt. Yeah. We're talking to him. They're like, "Oh, like what year were you born, man?" And he's like, giving us the year he graduated high school. And we're like, all right, you're a little out of it, man.
You're a little out of it.
And we get to Winthrop, we bring him back. And probably the best part of the story is after the fact, now everyone is crashing, right? Because you have that adrenaline rush and all that. And Mikey and Willie are in the front of the bus. And my dad and I are in the back. My dad's, laid out across the stretcher. He's like, I don't want to do that again. And, now we're stuck in traffic on the way back. And I have a video of it, of my dad laying across going, "All right, Dad just went on the call. Now he's taking a nap now." And you can hear Mikey and Willie arguing in the background because we have just caused so much traffic because they shut down the Meadowbrook that now Glen Cove Road and everything is shut down. And it was just a great time, man. It was a really, really interesting call.
I love that. Even just the fact that, you were with your father the whole time. Yeah. Just in there. I know, like, I can imagine what that feels like, right? To know that, he's got your back, you got his back, and then you all are going to work to go help the community. Yeah. I think that's great. All right, before we get into another story, I got a quick question for you, right? Quick question. A common myth that you'd like to debunk about firefighting?
We don't get cats out of trees, man.
Yeah.
I can't tell you that. So one of the interesting things.
I've heard that before. Like, people have said that on the show. Someone said they had got an iguana out of a tree before. This was years ago. But go ahead.
That's a new one, man. So sometimes people call the firehouse and they're asking for things, and I'm like, why are you calling here for this? One of the common ones is like, "Oh, like we have old fire extinguishers. Can we just drop them off? We're like, no, we don't want that. But again, another one is the cats in the trees. Like, people have called. They're like, "Oh, there's a cat in the tree. Can you come get it?" I'm like, well, not really.
No.
Like, I don't think we need to do this. Like, I think the cat's going to be okay. If it got itself up there, it can come down.
It can come down when it wants to come down.
Yeah.
If they do have a fire extinguisher and it's like 100 years old, hey, I actually do want that now.
Yeah, exactly.
But we don't get cats out of trees. That's definitely something that we do not do at all. All right, so let's keep going. What other stories? Do you have any stories from being an EMT besides that one? Like, any good stories with that?
Yeah, man. I mean, so
for over 50 years, Fire News has been the preferred publication for fire, rescue, and EMS heroes. Fire News print edition reaches Long Island, 17 states, and the District of Columbia. Visit firenews.com to see the latest news, read their digital prints, or follow them on Facebook and Instagram pages. In print, online, on social media, Fire News has you covered. Visit firenews.com. And if you go ahead and go visit on Instagram, please leave a comment and tell them that WRHU 88.7 The Firehouse sent you.
I was probably a black cloud when I first got my EMT card.
Wow.
Because 3 months after I got it, we got a cardiac arrest, and I'm a brand new EMT. And we pull up to the house, It's me. I think one of the get issues was driving again.
Okay.
And one of my buddies who had gotten in like a year or so after I did, who I actually went to EMT school with, but he ended up not passing the class. So me and him are in the back of the ambulance. We get there and we open up the door, and there is an ex-chief of our department who lived down the street.
Okay.
And he said, "Oh, my daughter's in there doing CPR." And I'm like, "Your daughter's in there doing CPR?" I'm like, "Oh, this just got real."
now
so
it's real.
I walk in, and now there is this 50-year-old woman doing CPR on this 60-year-old woman. And I'm like,
okay, let's stop right there. What is going through your brain right when you walk in to see this?
It's literally just, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm freaking out, right? And I'm like, all right, breathe for a second. You've been through this. You've been trained. You know what to do. So I'm like, all right, ma'am, get out of the way. Pull her. And it's of course, no one ever has a heart attack or goes into cardiac arrest in a convenient place. It is always somehow in the smallest corner of your house.
Yep.
Somehow you're in between the bed, the toilet, and the shower at the same time. You're like, what just happened? How did you get here? Right?
How did you get here?
So this woman, her bathroom was very, very small, and she fell in between, and she basically fell in the doorway.
Okay.
So I get the ex-chief's daughter out of there. I get over. I'm like, all right, time to start doing CPR. And the first compression I do, I feel everything break. And I'm like, oh, God almighty. Why? The second one, oh, please just stop. And the third one, and finally, I'm like, all right, okay, come on. And now here comes the cavalry, right? So now everyone starts coming, and they're like, oh, okay. But now I'm still doing CPR. And I'm like, all right, you got it? I'm like, I guess so. Like, all right, no, you got it. Oh, yeah, it's exhausting. So then the 14A showed up, the Nassau County Police Ambulance. They started doing their ALS stuff. They started pushing their drugs, intubating the patient. We unfortunately didn't get her back, but it was you know, after the fact, I went back to like I said before, the first cardiac arrest I went to, and I was like, wow, I just handled all that.
Yep.
And like, I didn't freak out. I was like, okay, like, all right, I can deal with this now. Let's go. And then like a week later, the same thing happened again, another cardiac arrest. And like 2 weeks later, another one. And I was like, what is happening? It just keeps happening.
Were they making it?
No, none of them were making it.
How does that affect you as a as a person, as a human, like knowing you're doing compressions on this person and they didn't make it? How does that affect you, personally?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It was really messing with me for quite a bit. And I didn't know if I wanted to keep doing it, but as time went on, unfortunately your senses start to dull with it.
Yep.
And you kind of just realize it's part of the job, and it's why you got into this, is to help people. And even if you can't help this person who has unfortunately passed away, you still made your best effort to do it.
Yeah.
So as time went on, it started affecting me less and less, and I was able to just get through it, do what I have to do, and then move on with your day.
And move on, right? Okay. So let me ask you a question, because you're married, right?
I am.
All right. So what's your wife's name?
Caitlin.
Caitlin. What's up, Caitlin? How you doing? Shout out to Caitlin. So let's ask just about that, because obviously you were in already when you met her, right? You're already in. How does she feel about you being, a firefighter, knowing what you do?
Yeah, so when we first started dating, it was a bit of an interesting dynamic, because she'd be like, oh, can you come hang out tonight? And I was like, I can't. I actually have to go to a department training, or I got to go to our department meeting or whatever. She was like, well, this is annoying, but okay, fine, whatever. You got to do what you got to do. She was actually over at my house one night, and I was like, oh, just chill here. I got to go to a cleanup. Or do a rig check or whatever, and then go to a training after this, right?
Okay.
And it just so happened that this was the same night that the Westbury train derailment happened.
Wow.
So now my wife, at the time my girlfriend, is sitting at my house, and I'm disappear for like 3 or 4 hours, and she's like, "What? Are you dead? Like what's going on here?" And so I ended up going over with our ambulance with a couple other people, and we gave a full department response to Westbury for the train derailment. We were gone all night.
Yeah, that's it.
And finally, when we get released, we transported one person to NUMC for I think they had hurt their foot or something like that. Nothing crazy. And we go, and I finally get my phone back, and I call my wife. I'm like, hey. She's like, where have you been? Like,
I'm sitting in your house.
Yeah, exactly. Turn on the news. You might see a glimpse of me. Like, oh, no. Yeah, so she actually just joined the department herself.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she's an EMT now.
Okay, look at that. So now she really understands. How long has she been in?
She's only been in for about a year or so.
A year, but it sounds like she was just watching what you do all the time. She's like, I need to be involved in this.
Yeah.
I need to kind of, but that also helps now. So she really understands when you got to go, why you got to go, and everything like that, right?
Yeah.
And you said you have kids too.
No kids.
No kids yet.
No
No
kids.
kids yet. Okay, so we're good there for
Yeah.
now. When you all both respond, and she's in the department with you in Carle Place. Look at that. I love that. I love it. All right. I'm looking at your shirt. What does that say? The what boys?
So
boys?
this is the Hamlet Boys.
The Hamlet Boys.
Yes. So this
Gotta
is.
tell me. Why is Carle Place called the Hamlet
So
Boys?
Carle Place is actually so small, we're not even considered a town. It's considered a hamlet.
Okay.
And so we were going through it, and again, the Gaddish brothers, wonderful, wonderful people, according to most people. And, they were looking at doing a different logo, going, all right, like, we need to, like, get something to, like, identify us, right?
Yeah.
Like, we need, like, a marker or something like that. And they ended up connecting with a artist, and we had already kind of given our nickname to ourselves as the Hamlet Boys because, we're the Hamlet of Carle Place, and the boys are getting on the rig, so we're going to work, and so we're the Hamlet Boys.
The Hamlet Boys.
And so they ended up coming up with this logo, and it's basically a frog of the Shakespearean era holding a skull flaming, and he basically has a little wig in the back like he's Shakespeare.
Okay.
So,
I love it.
yeah,
I see the pike pole right there in his hand. I love it. So let me ask you a question just about Carle Place, because Carle Place is unique, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like, I always because I'm in Uniondale, I compare things to Uniondale. We have the Coliseum, we have this. But Carle Place is unique because that's shopping area. That's tons of stores, right? And then on top of tons of stores, it's tons of people all the time, right? That, those hours of 8 to 8, you could have tons of people anywhere throughout the roads, throughout that. How does that affect your operations, just having all of these people at all of this time? You can go into, in any of those stores and have 100 people in that store, plus the workers, plus this. So how is all of that? And then have to get into the parking lot with all the cars in the parking lot, find it. So how does all of that work through your operations?
It depends on the time of day. Traffic on Old Country Road and Glen Cove Road, for anyone who's ever been over there, it is a hit or miss. You're either flying through every green light, you're like, oh, this is fantastic, or it's taking you 20 minutes to get from one light to the next.
Yep.
So it really depends upon the time of day. And then people are always amazing, because if we ever walk into a store for a call, whether it's an automatic alarm, a signal line, something, everyone is just going about their day. The store could be on fire and people are still going to go, can I go in there? No, you can't. You see the flames coming out of the roof? Yeah, no, that's not good.
Yeah, but I got to get this sweater.
Yeah, I got to get the milk. Like, okay, you're going to have to wait.
Yep. So, I guess with all of that got to play into it, just having to deal with that. But just operations-wise, it's basically like kind of just the time of the day and what you have.
We have, I think every department on Long Island has their chronic automatic alarms that just won't stop going off, just nonstop. We've done a pretty good job at trying to put a stop to that. We send the fire inspectors or the fire marshals, depending on what it is, just over and over again. Yeah. And it seems that, if we have a new problem child, then, okay, time to put a stop to this. Let's send the marshals, send the fire investigators,
Okay.
And eventually it stops. And then a new one pops up as soon as it stops.
Of course, as always.
Yeah.
All right. So you know what we could do right now? What we could do is we can get into a game called the Flashover. All right. So are you ready for the Flashover?
Yeah, man.
Do you know what the Flashover is?
I do.
You kind of do, right?
Yeah.
So Flashover, I'll ask you 2 questions, right? I'll ask you whether Android or Apple, and then you got to kind of give me a quick answer, all right? We'll do movies, we'll do TV shows, and then I have some other questions that I want to ask you, okay?
Sure.
All right. So, Caleb, are you ready for the Flashover?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, let's go. So, first question I got for you, old school leather helmet or the modern composite? Which one?
I've never had the old school leather,
Okay.
but everyone swears by them, so I'll go with the old school leather.
Old school leather. I think everybody does swear by them, but just for our listeners, and you didn't have one, and when you get one, you'll see they're heavy.
Yeah.
That's the problem with them. The
Right.
modern composite is lighter,
Right.
so it's a little bit more comfortable. And as you get older, you're like, man, I've heard a lot of guys say, I'm going to my modern composite. All right, let's keep going. Brush fire or rocking dumpster fire?
I'll go with the rocking dumpster fire.
Rocking dumpster fire. Why?
Because as everyone else has said on your show, it's not going anywhere.
It's not.
The brush fire, it's going to start to extend, and suddenly
right.
you have yourself a bigger problem.
Now you got a bigger problem. Okay. At a parade, drive the rig or drive the chief truck?
I'll go with drive the chief truck.
Drive the chief truck? Okay.
Yeah. I usually enjoy playing with their settings and mess them up a little bit. Plus, you know what? I'm also usually talking to another senior member who's maybe a little too old to walk in the parade,
and
soak up some wisdom from them, listen to their war stories, which isn't never a bad thing.
Yes. All right. So that moves me right into my next question. You pull up to the scene, right? You got a rocking house fire. Chief says, hey, I need you to either go in with this salty old vet or this young new rookie. Which one are you picking and why?
Man, you're really putting me on the spot here. You know what?
Which one are you picking?
Odds are I'm probably
picking the Geddish, or you're picking
I think I'm probably going to end up picking the rookie because based on the time of the day, I'm probably only going to have the rookie with me.
All right, let's keep going. Basement fire or warehouse fire?
You know what? I'll do basement fire.
Basement fire, why?
Warehouse fires scare me, man, because we have a couple of big box stores in Carle Place. If they ever go up, I'm going to get lost in here. This is not going to end well.
Yeah.
Whereas a basement fire, a residential house, I can control that a little bit more.
Control a little bit more. All right, let's keep going. Confirmed car fire or automatic alarm, light smoke condition?
You know what? I'll take the confirmed car fire on this one.
Okay, why? Why are we doing that?
I can't tell you how many times that we've gotten the automatic alarm with the light smoke condition, and everyone is going nuts, and then we get there, and they're like, oh, hey, I burnt this Pop-Tart in the toaster. I can't, listen, it very well could be something, but I'll take the confirmed car fire.
Car fire it is. Okay, let's keep going. At an installation dinner, do you sit with the rest of your ex-com, right? Or would you want to sit with the probies?
I'm probably going to end up sitting with the commissioners of the Board of Trustees. Yeah,
sit with all of them. Okay, let's keep going. Put on your hat if you were to ever become captain, right? So you're all there, and you train on Sundays or?
We do Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Tuesdays and Thursdays. So it's a Tuesday or Thursday, right? You're going to do a department critique, let's say at 6 o'clock in the evening, right? It is now 4 o'clock. Mostly everyone is there. Do you do another training from 4 to 6, or do you have them clean the house?
I would definitely have them do another training.
Another training. Clean the house when we get to it.
I got a houseman for that. He can clean during the week. I don't need the probie doing that. He knows how to work a mop.
All right, let's keep going here. Midnight call or 5 a.m. call?
I'll do 5 a.m.
5 a.m.?
Yeah.
Why?
You know what? I feel like the midnight calls, everyone says that you can get there a little bit quicker, and you can also people are usually sleeping at midnight. As 5 a.m., everyone's already getting up for work like that, all right, I'll get up for work. I'll go to the 5 a.m. call.
Okay, so 5 a.m. call. All right, so how about this? With that said, day shift or night shift?
Day shift.
Day shift all the time, right?
Yeah. If I worked night shift, my wife would kill me.
Even with her being in now, she still would no, it's not going to work. All right, let's keep going. Pick your punishment. Summer heat in gear or winter cold and wet boots?
I'll do winter cold and wet boots.
Why?
I hate the heat, man. I hate this. Heat? It's October and it's 80 degrees outside, man. I can't do this.
It's killing me because I thought I could stop my sprinkler, but I'm like, I got to restart it now.
No, exactly. I can't do it.
It's too much. All right. So being that you are president, of Carle Place, suspension you have to deal with that part of it, right?
If someone is breaking a bylaw or doing something stupid in the firehouse,
you got to get involved there. So we got to play the game suspended or not.
Yeah.
Okay? So are we ready for suspended or not?
I am.
Okay, suspended or not. All out fist fight at a call.
Suspended.
And off the bat.
Everyone has a camera phone or a Ring doorbell. I don't care what happened. There is no reason to do that at a call.
At a call. So that's it. Suspended. Let's keep going. You pull up to Firehouse in Carle Place. The entire front window's busted out. 2 guys playing with pike poles. They're Jedis. What are we doing? Suspended or not?
I'm probably going to call them both idiots, but I don't think I'm going to suspend them. I've done stupid stuff too.
You've done stupid stuff too. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. All right. You're at a call again. Rocking house fire, but officers, and sometimes they do this. They're parked right in front. Right. Chauffeur pulls up engine. Right. Pulls up. And gets on the loudspeaker and says, "Move your effing car," to the cops. Suspended or not?
You know what? I'm going to pretend like I didn't hear that one. Not suspended.
Didn't hear that one. All right. Last one that I want to ask you. You are you're at the call, and your rank where you are now. And I don't know, is that considered a rank?
No,
president?
not
so
on the
it's
firematic
not,
side.
Right? It's not.
Yeah,
not
no,
on the
I'm a company
side.
officer, but on the business side.
Well, okay, but so you're at the call. Let's say you watch the whole thing happens. The chief is there, and he gets into a little argument with one of the chauffeurs. Nothing where no one sees, like you said, no cameras. No one really sees, but you see they had a little tiff, right? Towards the end of the call, you see the chief walking by the rig. Chauffeur's in there. He lays on the horn. Bah! Suspended or not. You know they just had an argument, so.
Not suspended.
Not suspended.
No, because I know that the wrath from the Chiefs, any of them, whether it's the Geddes brothers or Tim Stellato, it's going to come in a different way. I don't need to get involved. That guy's on his own.
He's gonna get it. He's gonna get it. All right, let's keep going. Let's go with movies and some TV shows. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Chicago Fire, Rescue Me.
I'll go Rescue Me.
Rescue Me, Third Watch.
I never saw Third Watch, so
Never
Rescue
saw
Me.
Third, so Rescue Me again. Backdraft, Ladder 49.
Man. You know what? I guess I'm going to have to go with Backdraft on that one.
You got to tell me why. Why are we going Backdraft?
You know what? I love both movies, but I've probably seen Backdraft more.
Probably seen it. That's one of the things that's always on repeat.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So this is a great question and one of the most important questions I'm going to ask today. And I'm really curious of what you would say. I'm almost curious what anyone in Carle Place would say because you do both. Engine or truck?
That is going to be a hefty split down the middle in Carle Place, but our bread and butter is engine work. So
there
I'm
we
gonna
go.
Pick engine work.
So we're going engine. Boom, 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 boom. That's right.
And
put the wet stuff on the red stuff.
Exactly. The only reason why it's even split down the middle is because we got a brand new ladder truck, an 85-foot mid-mount tower ladder. Everyone loves the shiny new toy. Everyone wants to play with it. Everyone wants to go do truck work.
That's right. All right. So let's keep going. I have a question just to ask you, especially when you first started. I'm pretty sure not now. No one's doubting you now, because they know you could do the job no matter what, you have, but was there any calls, any situations where you were doubted because of, your above the knee amputee?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that there probably were scenarios.
Was there anything that you've seen,
Nothing that anyone's ever admitted to me. Everyone to my face has always said, if you think that you can do this, we're going to let you do this. Go right ahead. I'm sure that there were definitely times where people were like, I don't know if he can do this, and I was probably doubting myself too, going, I don't know if I can do this either, but let's find out.
Okay, but they probably kind of gave that, but never really gave it to you, But then you also show and prove, so you show them hey, I got this. So
yeah, I mean, it was an interesting first year or so, where kind of everyone was still feeling me out, and I was trying to feel myself out too, of all right, what is my limitation? What can I do? There was a plan for a little bit where I was just going to be an exterior fireman, and you know what? That was okay with me. I was like, all right, I understand. I don't want to put anyone else in danger. I don't want to, do anything unnecessary. And as time went on, I kept training as interior, and I was like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. And, again, I have a great group of officers in Carle Place, and there has never been a single person who ever, again, at least to my face, said, I don't think you can do this. And it was, just, we're going to help you get through this.
Was there any moments, forget everyone else, that you doubted yourself? You were like, I can't do this.
Oh, yeah. 1,010%. There were definitely times where, again, with the Collier's Mansion, right? I obviously have a little bit harder of a time moving around, given that I'm missing, part of my leg.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, maybe I shouldn't be interior. But, I realized, all right, hang on. Just because he went that way doesn't mean I can't go this way. I always try to find another way around, try to adapt and overcome and, get myself to what I need to do, and do that in a way that makes sense for me. And just because it makes sense for me doesn't make it make sense for everyone else.
That's right. So you know what? Because you're an EMT, we kind of got a little flashover for EMTs too. So let me ask a couple of questions in there. So just because I know that, you're EMT, so there's certain things that you can't do and can do, right? Got to wait for, the next step up and everything. But answer some of these questions.
Sure.
I want to just add these into here, right? Trauma call or medical call? Which one?
Trauma.
Trauma, why?
Trauma is easier because there's a blatant problem. If someone just got hit by a car, okay, I know what to do here. I can fix it. I'm going to try my best to keep you from dying. Medical call, someone calls me and says I have a fever. All right.
It could be 100 things.
Yeah, it could be 100 things. All right, I'm sitting you in the stretcher and we're bringing you to the hospital. I'm not doing anything for you.
Yeah.
You're going to the hospital. Nothing that I'm going to do is going to fix you long term.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's great. No one has ever explained it like that, but that makes sense, right? It's a problem. I can see it. I can fix it. Versus medical call. I don't know what the problem is. I can only take you to the hospital, and they got to figure it out, right? All right. Let's keep going. You pull up to the scene, right? You are the EMT. Chief is there. This side, somebody is doing compressions, right? CPR. This side, pregnant lady. She's about to give birth. Chief says, pick your poison. Which one you doing?
Oh, I'm going with CPR all day.
You're going CPR
Yeah, no, I do not want to deliver a child.
You
no,
do not
no,
want to
thank
be
you.
involved in
I'm
it.
good.
All right, let's keep going. You're in the ambulance. Well, you pull up to the house. Do you want to drive or do you want to be in the back?
I prefer to drive.
Okay,
But you know what? If it's a house I know, if it's someone I know, then all right, I want to take care of this person.
You want to be doing patient care. All right. Cleaning ambulance or restocking the ambulance?
Clean it. I'll wash the outside all day. I hate restocking it.
Can't restocking it, looking at expiration dates and all of that stuff like that. All right, cool. Do I have another one? No, that's pretty much it. That's all I got for those. I just wanted to kind of bring that in there because you are EMT, and I wanted to kind of get your perspective on all of that. All right, so let's keep going here. So just in a whole, right? Like, how has being, a firefighter, a volunteer firefighter, how has that changed, your life?
Oh man, in so many different ways. It's unreal. Again, I as I said before, the best man at my wedding I met through my EMT class. I had a big wedding. I had a big bridal party.
Wow.
I had probably 9 groomsmen, and only 3 or 4 of them were not somehow involved in the volunteer fire service. The rest of them were all volleys and they're all firemen, whether they were in Carle Place or they were in another firehouse. It's just, I have met some of the best friends of my entire life through the volunteer fire service. Wow. And, we had a troop of Girl Scouts come through Carle Place last year, and they had to ask certain questions about, whether or not, in order to get their badge or whatever it is that they needed to get. And one of the questions was why do you want to be a fireman? What makes you want to keep doing this? And it's always to help people, and it's always to do that. But there is no better feeling in the world than getting on a fire truck or a fire engine with your best friends in the entire world going to a fire. Yeah. I don't want it to happen to anyone. I don't want anyone's house to go on fire, but if it's going to happen, I want to be the one to go help. And, having your best friends do that, it's just an unbelievable feeling.
I can imagine. So with that said, for the person that is thinking about joining, listening to this show right now, or listening to this show and they only got a couple of months in, what type of advice would you want to give them?
For the person who's not yet in, and if you're considering it, just come on in. Just come in. It is not everyone's cup of tea. It is not something that everyone is capable of doing or that they even want to do. We see some terrible, gruesome things, but we also do some really cool stuff too. And sometimes people don't like the stuff that we see, and they can't handle it. And that's okay. Again, this isn't for everyone. For those of you who are brand new, and if you're still on the fence about it, talk to some of your senior guys. Talk to the dude who's been in for 10, 15, 20 years. Ask his opinion of it. And if you're not getting out of bed on a Sunday morning or whenever it is you go and train, and you're saying, wow, I really love doing this, maybe it's not for you, and that's okay.
That's right.
But if you're getting out of bed, you're getting down to the firehouse an hour early because you want to be the first one there, then this is for you. You've found what you're good at. Everyone comes from different walks of life. And that's what I tell my juniors, too, is that, there is always room for improvement. And if you want to go and become a doctor, the guy who runs a juniors program with me, Hector, he is in medical school right now, going to become a doctor.
Wow. Okay.
We all come from different walks of life. Everyone can come and be a part of this.
Okay. With that said, as you brought that up, this is a question that I actually didn't tell you about, so I got to ask this question. This is going to be one of the new questions that I want to ask going forward.
Sure.
Is in your department, of course, we're not saying names, but I just want you to kind of think of in your department, you have guys, which we all have, some guys that are super active, some guys that aren't active, some guys that aren't around. What do you suggest for the guy that can't be around as much no more? Should he stay? Should he resign? Should he do something else? What is your take on those guys, or what we like to call sometimes the knife and forkers, right? What is your take on that? Do you hold them and say, hey, when you starting back up, well, good, or should they resign? What do you think?
You know what? It's an interesting conversation that we have in Carle Place about this, probably once a month. I would imagine everyone else has the same conversation. And truth is, I don't know. I don't know because when that fork and knifer does come around, he might be useful. He might have 10, 15 years in, and he has stopped coming around because his kids have kept him busy, and he can't dedicate as much time. But on the rare occasion that we bang out with a house fire at 2 o'clock in the morning, he knows his stuff. He knows what he's doing. He can show the probie a thing or two. And, I don't necessarily know if I want to lose him because he can't come to the Tuesday night meetings or the drills anymore, or come to every single automatic alarm because he's got to watch his kid after he gets out of work. Everyone has their own stuff going on in life. So I don't know what the correct answer is.
No, that's good. That's one of the questions I want to start asking, just because that's like a conversation that everybody's having. You got some people that's like, he's got to go. Tell him to come back. And some people's like, no, hold on to him and we'll see. That retention piece. So,
I believe me, man. It's a problem everywhere. I've said this 1,000,001 times, and I'll say it 1,000,000 more until I'm blue in the face. The days of the mom and pop shop are gone.
That's right.
Guys are working 2 or 3 jobs just to be able to afford to live in district now. It's no longer, hey, Jimmy, watch the gas station for 2 hours while I go on this ambulance call. You just can't do it anymore. It's unreal, and the recruitment and retention problem that Nassau County faces is also unreal. And unfortunately, it's just getting tougher and tougher because, back 30 years ago, it was, all right, you have a pulse. Congratulations, you're in. That's all we needed from you from the year, on top of coming to your 30% of calls or whatever it is. Now it's, oh, hey, by the way, you got to come to 30% of the calls, plus come to all these meetings, plus, by the way, come to this training, plus, by the way, do all your VFIS classes.
Plus go to the parades.
Plus go to parades. Plus
God forbid, funerals, this, that. It's just like it doesn't stop.
No, it just doesn't end. Again, my phone doesn't stop ringing.
I can imagine. It probably does not stop ringing, especially as president, too. So you're dealing with all of that. So, all right. So, listen, Caleb, am I forgetting anything? Anything else you want to bring up? If you can, shout out just how, if someone wants to join Carle Place, how do they join?
They can join one of 2 ways. They can either go and Google Carle Place Fire Department. There's a section on our website that says if you're interested in joining, whether it's as a junior or a regular member. The email comes to me either way, and then I forward it to either one of the, whoever's on the investigating committee, or I will keep it myself if it's a junior, and I'll reach out to them, or I'll send it to the other guy, Hector, and we will go from there and get someone to join. So,
really quick, you're the president. Are you ever thinking of running for officer?
After all this? Oh my God, no.
Probably not. No.
No, probably not. I mean, listen, if it ever comes to that point where I'm needed to, but we have such a great group of guys who,
in the way it's set now,
who are definitely going to be some good officers down the road. I don't think that there's going to be a need to. I trust every single one of them completely, who I think is going to end up in that office. And I think I'm going to end up staying where I'm at for probably a while too, because everyone wants to be a lieutenant. No one wants to come upstairs and pay the bills.
Come up there.
Oh, you can either go on this call, or by the way, you got to send some checks after.
I'm going on that call.
Yeah. Oh, what's that? Oh, automatic alarm. Here I come.
So with that said, of those great guys, if there was someone right now that you think that should be on this show, call them out right now. Who?
Oh, man. You know what? I'm going to have to call out Matthew Peck.
Matthew Peck, you've been called out to the Firehouse. We got to get him down there.
Yeah, you definitely got to get him down there. He's a salty guy. I'm sure he would love to come down.
All right, Matthew Peck. You heard it. Matthew Peck, we are going to be reaching out to you, trying to find you, or you find us. And come on down and come to the show. All right, listen, again, thank you so much, man.
Hey, Chris, really, my pleasure, man.
Is there anything that I'm forgetting that you want to bring up before we get out of here?
No, I think that's just about it, man.
All right, good. Listen, thank you so much for coming down to the Firehouse. We had the Hamlet boys down here. So thank you so much for coming down to the Firehouse and just telling us, your stories and everything like that, okay?
Yeah,
thank
absolutely.
you again. All right. So, everybody, we just heard from my boy Caleb from the Carle Place Fire Department. He is El Presidente, but he's still one of those Hamlet boys, about his life as a firefighter. I hope you all enjoyed the conversation. Please like, share, subscribe, do all of those things. I am your host, Chris Moses, and please tune in next week to another great conversation in the Firehouse.